Gautam, hi, good morning. It's Amina joining in. It's so good to talk to you today after many, many months. But first up, what is the call on the Nifty? And Bank Nifty has also risen in the last couple of weeks, to all our reliefs, to all our heart's content in that sense. How would you play the Nifty and how would you play the Bank Nifty? Would you buy either of the indexes at current levels?
Good morning. I think as a technician, it's just been a classical bull market making higher tops and higher bottoms. We've had a lot of local and global developments, including what happened last night. But honestly, Indian markets have just stood strong all along. Support levels have worked all along. And I think you don't question such bull markets. You don't question liquidity. You don't question momentum. And I learned this in 2003, 2007, when the entire bull market was fueled by foreign liquidity. Obviously, everybody seems to be talking about the Fed rate cut that has happened. I think more than refueling the economy, it's actually refueling the markets, because I think a lot of the positives were already in the price, and we wanted some new development which the market can latch onto, to move significantly higher. And I think with this development, it does seem as if a new momentum on the upside is building up. Any which way, I think the last 2.5 weeks have been extremely quiet. Honestly, the trade has not been in the Nifty or the major large caps. They've all been languishing. But if the index were to get past 25,600 on a closing basis, which I think is a very important resistance, I think that will open up another 3 to 5% on the upside. And I still feel that this is a stock-specific, theme-specific, sector-specific market. There is still a lot of money to be made. India VIX is very quiet. There is no real euphoria. I think with what has happened in the last 7 to 10 days, people are questioning this move a lot more than enjoying it. So I think keeping all of those factors in mind and looking at the charts, and with the comeback of the Bank Nifty clearly, and with global markets doing well, all of these factors put together talk about further upside, but not really in the index, maybe outside of the index.
Gautam, that's such an interesting point, because yes, you are right. The most common verdict is that bahut ho gaya, it's too overvalued, let's get out of it. So I'm glad you're mentioning this. My question is, Gautam, if you indeed believe that the markets, and by markets I don't mean just the Nifty levels, but overall, if let's say the Nifty 500 is to stay stable or move higher, I heard you say the moves could happen outside of the index. Where are those pockets where you believe that people can still make money on the upside? Conversely, do tell us also, where is it that you also believe ke bahut ho gaya?
Well, I personally feel that, first of all, on the Nifty, you can't talk about lofty targets, even for the Bank Nifty for that matter. In fact, Bank Nifty has really become a value stock in some sense. I mean, if you look at the valuation and the P ratios of the Bank Nifty and compare it with some of the large cap private names and the PSU names, I think it's value. It's really offers great value. And that's probably the reason we've seen this come back in the last 2 weeks. And with the Fed cut announcement, I just believe that this entire financial services space could do exceedingly well over the next 3 to 6 months. So housing finance companies, insurance companies, NBFCs, banks, I think that's really the big margin of safety trade that we have at this point of time. Some other pockets, that we continue to like would be pharma and IT. I know IT had a down day yesterday, but overall, structurally, we remain very, very bullish. And the two other spaces which I see are potential big winners over the next 3 to 6 months. First would be metals. I think we've seen an excellent comeback in the last 5 to 7 days. And with what's happened yesterday in the US, I just feel that the metals index is ready for a breakout past 9,600. Once that confirmation happens, we are looking at a 1,000-point move on the metals index. And chemicals, very quietly over the last 6 weeks, we've seen a nice rebound in all the top stocks. Look at the Deepak Nitrate, look at the Tirumalai Chemicals. Many of these names have done very well. So that's again a pocket that we like. And not to forget FMCG. ITC is quietly sustaining above 500, Godrej Consumer, Hindustan Unilever. So these are the pockets that we like. In the mid-cap space, you have to be very, very selective. Auto ancillary, paints as a space, selective infrastructure stocks, sugar, fertilizer. So these are some of the pockets that we like in the mid-cap, small-cap space.
So a lot of calls there, Gautam. Fantastic detail. Hi, Tamanna here, and as always, a pleasure to speak with you. Just, I want to come back to a little more minutiae when it comes to the BFSI space. Are you liking NBFCs? Are you liking a Shriram, a Bajaj Finance? What about your private and public banks? Anything there that you're finding very, very attractive right now?
Well, I think we made this point a couple of months back that Bajaj Finance could potentially be the trade of the next 1 year. And I think if you look at it based on valuations, based on fundamentals, based on visibility, and based on the charts, I just believe at levels of 75, 76, 7700, you can't go wrong. And I think it's one stock, that could deliver super normal returns over the next 1.5 years. And not just Bajaj Finance, I think the entire NBFC space, we make a custom NBFC index at Goldilocks. That seems to have, confirmed a breakout in the last 1 week. And it's doing much better than the actual Bank Nifty. So I think NBFCs as a pocket, and with yesterday's Fed announcement, it only fuels the rally even more. And I think with RBI likely to follow suit, whenever over the next few weeks to few months, I think NBFC is a space to be in.
Gautam, you mentioned that you like metals. I was telling Neeraj this morning that LME inventory is at a record low as we see it. In metals, if you've got to play proxy to commodities, give me 2 or 3 metal stocks you would initiate fresh longs on at current prices. And the fact that money is limited, I wish we could go out and buy chemicals, banks, metals, all of it, right? But that one top stock or sector that you would bet the house on right now.
Well, in the metal space, I think the point that you make when I speak to people on the street and when I speak to a lot of managements, the commentary is that on the ground, it's not all that good. But then when you look at it on the charts, it's not so bad. I mean, you have JSW Steel at a lifetime high today, and some of the other stocks like a Hindalco or a Vedanta are all close to lifetime highs. And I think the sector has gone through a nice 3.5 months of consolidation, and it's preparing to break out. I think a lot of the current negatives are in the price, and the future positives will now get discounted over the next 4 to 8 weeks. So I think JSW Steel and JSPL for me are the top picks. But if you ask me of one dark horse in the metal space, I think it could be Nalco, National Aluminium, which has an incredible chart, very good fundamentals, extremely good sector tailwinds. I think that could be one of the bigger winners. So if you have to really allocate your capital wisely here, it has to be pharma, FMCG, metals and IT. And I would actually stay away from the past big winners, PSU, auto, capital goods, real estate. I would stay away from these 4 and commit into the other 4 which I mentioned.
Pharma, which is the one stock you're buying? I did hear you say ITC is one you like from the consumption space. In pharma, give me one stock that you would go out and buy right now. So
I think Dr. Reddy's is a very interesting setup.
So
I think Dr. Reddy's, Cipla, and Sun Pharma. I would go with these 3.
Sun Pharma, ITC, Nalco. Would that be the 5 top stocks you're recommending?
Yes, I would. And Bajaj Finance, not to forget that.
Yes, and Bajaj Finance.
Just Gautam, before we let you go, since we've seen the 25,600 mark on the Nifty, and we started this conversation with a Nifty call from you, do you want to return to it?
Well, I think Nifty is not important anymore. Honestly, we keep talking about these numbers, but if we do get past 25,600, I think the next real stop on the upside is about 26,500. But that's 4% away from where we are right now. I think that as late Rakesh ji used to always say that the trajectory is more important than the magnitude. And bull markets always top out on greed. And where is greed? I see concern, I see fear, I see questions being raised in today's bull market, and bull markets don't top out like this.
Gautam, we have a global guest waiting, but I'm tempted to ask you a 30-second answer if you can. Gold, you've been a big bull. You continue to be a bull on gold?
Absolutely. I think it will do the unthinkable even from current levels. And I think after what has happened last night, I do believe that gold is now ready for $3,000 gradually. And silver could potentially see a 30% rally even from these levels. And I maintain my view that gold and silver will beat equity benchmark returns over the next 6 to 12 months.
Quite a statement. So gold and silver might bleed equity benchmark returns. Gautam, we constrained for time today.
You already have, over the long term as well.
But bleed is, well, quite the statement, really. But Gautam, thank you. Very soon, Gautam, we should try and, ahead of the festive season, do a longer chat. Today, constrained for time, we'll have to thank you here, but thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you, Neeraj. Pleasure.
That's the view from Gautam Shah of Goldilocks. Enjoy the moment instead of complaining about the upticks. That's the view from Gautam Shah.